LeBron James treated that question like it was wearing Adidas. He wanted no part of that.
Hey,
he wanted to get as far away as possible.
He Euro-stepped all around that question, didn't he?
Oh, man. But this is going to be a thing, right? This is going to be a thing in L.A. right now. Frank Vogel's job may or may not be in jeopardy, depending on what you read. Obviously, there's some heat on for the Lakers to play better than they have been so far, and it's his job to try to win games the best he can. What did you make of that decision and the fallout that's coming here?
Well, unfortunately for Frank Vogel, he's going to be held responsible for a lot of the things that are going wrong with the Lakers, and I don't think it's all his fault. We know Frank Vogel's a very good defensive coach. He was a good defensive coach in Indiana, Orlando, even when the Lakers won a championship a year ago.
Yep.
So we understand that he knows how to coach defense, but this Lakers team doesn't have the personnel. And I think when you look at where this team is coming down the stretch of a tight ball game, if you're not going to put the ball in Russell Westbrook's hands, what is he doing for you from an offensive standpoint?
Right.
Because Russ is a guy that's always had the ball in his hands, and he's made plays, and he's very good at that. But if you take the ball out of his hands, he's a career 30% three-point shooter or below.
Not spreading the floor.
So teams will not guard him, and then he leads the league in turnovers. So he's a guy that might turn the ball over, and teams do not mind him shooting the ball. They are staying as far away from him as possible when he's in those corners because they're saying, listen, we respect you, but if we're going to lose a game, we don't want LeBron to beat us. We'd rather you beat us with that corner jump shot or any other jump shot you want to take from three. Mm-hmm. And that makes it hard for the Lakers to execute from an offensive standpoint. I have no problem with what Frank Vogel did.
Well, and from some of the reporting last night, apparently his defense last night was an issue as well, particularly the way he was guarding Karis LeVert. So it's not just the offensive issues, it's both ends of the floor. Defensively, by the way, the Lakers are really suffering from an absence of Anthony Davis. They were 14th in the league in defensive rating when he was injured in mid-December. They've been 26th in the league since that time. But I want to get back to the Westbrook question for a moment. So what is the conversation moving forward between Frank Vogel and Russell Westbrook as they embark on this trip?
Well, if you're Frank Vogel, you have to talk to Russell Westbrook and let him know what's going on. Players hate to be kept in the dark. So whatever you're going to do, at least let me know so I can deal with it. Players hate to be surprised on the fly. Like if you're in the rotation and you're going to pull me out of the rotation, let me know ahead of time. Don't let me just find out like in the game that I'm not playing. Same thing going forward. If you're Frank Vogel, you have to have a real talk with Russ and say, hey, either this was just a one-time thing or, you know what, on some nights, if you don't have it going, we might have to go in another direction, especially if you're not playing as well as we need you to on defense. Because defense, like you said, is a very big problem, especially with this team with their age. When you look at the age of the guys that they were starting and coming off the bench with last night, it's a lot of guys that are up there. LeBron's 37. Dwight Howard, I think, is 35. Trevor Reeves is getting up there in age. You come off the bench with Carmelo Anthony, he's up there in age. Like, he played 30 minutes last night. They don't have a lot of youth now that Anthony Davis isn't on this team. And I think what was in August, LeBron James tweeted, keep that same energy. Because people were talking bad about the team.
Yeah.
Well, we're keeping that same energy. Unfortunately, LeBron James and his team doesn't like it, and they're under the microscope right now, and for good reason. This team had championship expectations, and right now they're not living up to it.